Alright, it's been a while since we've done something different, and so today we're going to jump into Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the game that came out in 2006 for the Xbox 360 and actually for a bunch of stuff. I think for the PS3, and I think there was also versions of this that you could play on the Xbox and PS2. And recently it's been remastered for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4. Now this is not that version, this is the Gold Edition version.
Not on my watch.
And so we're going to be working off the Xbox 360 here. So we'll have access to some DLC characters that we'll be taking advantage of and some stuff. And as you can see, Dr. Doom has attacked the Helicarrier, and Nick Fury has called in for backup. But it's interesting to note that this is 2006. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is still 2 years away. This game is coming off of the two X-Men Legends games, which kind of set up, which were action RPGs before this. I've seen mixed reviews about the X-Men Legends. There are some people who really like those games. And then there was a review by Some Call Me Johnny where he was not particularly impressed. But you meet, what they introduce is sort of the core group of heroes. You've got Thor here in his ultimate suit, which is a Marvel Cinematic Universe suit sort of based off of SpiderMan.
Excuse me, is this the Staten Island?
You know, and then Captain America and Wolverine are the other guys here in this initial group, and they don't really have anything in common with each other. Spider-Man's Sony, you know, movie-wise. Spider-Man, Sony, Wolverine was Fox, and the rights to Thor and Captain America belong to Marvel, but they hadn't been made into movies at the time. Which is kind of interesting when you go back to this game, because you look at Captain America's costume, and it seems like a sort of movie universe Cap kind of costume. But that's actually his costume from the Ultimate Comics. You can see the sort of arm patches there, sort of the giveaway for that. Now this is Wolverine in his, I still think that this was done to sort of make more resemblance of him toward Hugh Jackman.
What are you girls looking at?
But you can open up costumes for the characters by using a character enough, killing more characters. And so Wolverine has access to his traditional X-Men costume. He also has access to his, you know, the blue and yellow X-Men costume, which I think is called the Astonishing X-Men costume in this game. But here we are on the Helicarrier, and we need to fight our way to where Nick Fury is. So this is sort of the game's little tutorial section. Your special powers, and since we're level 1, we don't have a lot of points to spend on those, are anchored to certain buttons, and you need to press the right trigger on the Xbox 360 controller, and then the requisite button in order to make that work. X is your grab button, as you can see that I'm doing right here, and it's also your throw button. A is your basic attack. So basically I'm being Captain America here in the beginning, just because that's who they gave me, and I'm just trying to get... I'm doing this relatively blind. I've seen this game played through, but I've never played it myself, which is the case with a lot of stuff that I do here on the channel. Now I've changed to Spider-Man. We can pick up barrels. That's cool. We can jump. Now, Spider-Man, if he double jumps, will use his webs. Not like that. That's actually his A special attack. Which basically is a substitute for flying. So, in all intents and purposes, if Spider-Man's using his web moves, he's basically flying just like a flying character would. But the reason I wanted to change to Spidey here is he has this projectile attack, and you know, I'm all about doing damage to these folks, kind of, you know, from a distance, particularly while I'm trying to get used to how the game functions. But, you know, it's this game, again, looking at this opening team, This sort of tells you where Marvel thought they were in 2006. You know, the first Iron Man movie hadn't come out yet. That was still 2 years away. You know, otherwise, the starting cast of this this game might have looked different. But here you can see the you know, we're a year out from the last Spider-Man film, or sorry, the Spider-Man 3, the last Tobey Maguire Spider-Man film, Sam Raimi Spider-Man. So Spider-Man, of course, would have been a big deal anyway. And then we have you know, Wolverine, because again the X-Men series of movies, you know, is fairly well known at this point in time. Don't expect a lot of, you know, if you're listening for the voices and things like that, don't expect a whole ton of recognition, or sorry, recognizable stuff. I mean, I don't really pay attention to the voice acting in the game, so other than Nick Fury, it doesn't really bother me. I think the most noticeable thing I saw about the voice acting was that, you know, Deadpool is not done by Nolan North, and that was sort of off-putting at first. But you know, if you listen to the guy who does Deadpool in this game, he does a pretty good job. So it's not a big deal. Now you'll notice that we've been fighting Ultron warriors, and this is almost a good 10 years before the Age of Ultron movie. So, you know, Ultron wasn't really a one-shot villain yet. We're also fighting Doombots. So, you know, we've got Dr. Doom, and again, this is just something like the Lego Marvel superhero game. You know, these are characters who, you know, because of the movie rights, just don't get together anymore, or don't get together often. And so it's nice to see Dr. Doom, who basically owned by Fox at this point, you know, used as a main villain in this story. Of course, this is sort of a globe-trotting Marvel story, you know, where a lot of major villains are actually part of this sort of big team-up, and minor villains too. We're going to run into those guys soon enough here. Now, the game has achievements for various things. You saw me get an achievement for just killing a small number of guys a little while ago. You can also get achievements for the number of guys that you throw to their death. You can get achievements for using combo moves. But let's hold off on that for a second, because here is the Scorpion, the first minor villain we're going to run into, a Spider-Man villain.
This world has ever known. The Masters of Evil! That's the best part of all. We're led by the man himself.
In conversations in-game, the person you're talking to is going to be fully voiced, but you're just going to have this line of text that doesn't really change depending on who you are. But there are certain characters who can have special conversations with certain other characters. So here we go, and there he went. This is this is a good sign that I'm playing on easy mode for this run through, particularly trying to get used to this game. There is an achievement for beating the game on hard mode, so eventually, you know, I'll have to go back and do that. And we got a level up for Spider-Man, since we've been him most of the time, and so any killing we've been doing has been with him. So let's go and look at Spider-Man for a sec here in the menu. So we're at level 2, and we can upgrade our abilities, and the only ability we have right now is web bullets. And you'll notice that we're on auto spin at the moment. And I'm going to turn auto spin off for Spider-Man, because as one of my favorite Marvel heroes, we're going to be using Spider-Man a lot in the playthrough, and I really want to be able to utilize him by myself. So what I'm going to do is take away the auto-equip gear function and take away the auto-spending point. Well, okay, I say that. Now I'm just looking around, seeing what's going on here with, here's Thor, here's Wolverine, and then Captain America we're also going to be using a lot. So now he just automatically grabs the Scorpion's tail and doesn't. He's not a ranged. He has a ranged attack, with the shield, but it doesn't really. Later on, Captain America is not. I mean, he's a bruiser. That's what he is. So makes more sense for Spider-Man to use Scorpion's tail, although, the real-world applications of that may not make any sense. All right, now everybody else is leveled up. But there's a fair amount to manage with your character. Other than just leveling up your abilities, you can also spend money either on your abilities, money that sort of appears in these little shield tokens that bounce around. And you can upgrade the costume of your character to maximize their stats within a certain costume. Which, I guess in a way sort of gives the advantage to the early costumes, the ones that are unlocked at the beginning, because if you want to go ahead and upgrade those features, I tend to wait till I have the costume I want before I go and upgrade it. Usually these guys have got 4 costumes. As we look at the controller setup here. These guys have got 4 costumes. One is only unlockable from doing a special mission that we'll run across here later. And, in some cases it's the first costume I like the best, like Spider-Man's classic costume, which he has right now, Captain America's ultimate costume, which he has right now. But Thor and Wolverine, I kind of prefer different looks, so I would want to go and unlock other costumes for those. So we finally make it to Nick Fury. Somebody's hurt on deck, and then Nick Fury is not going to be particularly helpful. Now, this is classic Nick Fury. In 2002, when they started doing the Ultimate comics, they created Ultimate Nick Fury, who looks like Samuel L. Jackson. And that costume is unlockable when you eventually do unlock Nick Fury. But he's going to be white in all the cutscenes, and so that might be a little bit weird, again, looking back on things, as opposed to seeing it for the first time in 2006.
Not an option. You have to get to the launch bay and stop him.
So now we're being sent to go deal with some nuclear missiles. And that's where we're gonna call it quits for today. We're gonna do one more thing before we cut out, and this will sort of signify the end of the tutorial section. You're walking around the Helicarrier deck. Again, the Helicarrier and its deck don't look much like they are going to look in the cinematic universe. But we're still, again, 2 years away from Iron Man, and we're 6 years away from the Avengers, where you finally got to see the Helicarrier in its full glory. So what we're going to do is go to this little point here. This is our save point. This is also where we get to change our team membership. So we're going to create a save file. And this is the first thing you'll notice is the number of characters that we have available, and that's because we're playing on Gold Edition with the Xbox 360. So you can see Moon Knight and Colossus. Well, you can see Moon Knight for certain. Colossus is kind of back there, hiding.
Iron Man.
But we're going to change out the team because if we were playing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Nick Fury would have called the Avengers, and so he wouldn't have called Spider-Man Wolverine. So we're going to do this first level, or at least the rest of this first level, with an Avengers-oriented roster. But you can see I've got Doctor Doom, Sabretooth, Venom, and Magneto unlocked from the DLC. There was Moon Knight over there. There's some locked characters that you have to get through the course of the game. There's Hawkeye, Cyclops, and they're also from the Gold Edition.
Do it.
So we'll go with an Avengers team of Hawkeye, Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America for most of the rest of this Helicarrier level. And I'll see you for that part next time. Take care.